So hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. As you can see, we're here at Donington, just taking part in the GT3 weekend, GT3s and GT4s. And if you're still very interested in attending the British GT season, there's still availability for the 25th to the 27th of April. And then it moves to Ollerton Park, 23rd, 22nd, on to Spa in Belgium, 20th of June to the 22nd, and then back to the UK for Snetterton on the 11th, 13th of July, August on the 23rd and 24th, they're at Brands Hatch, and then on to Donington for the last round 9 again in the 4th and 5th of October. A really fantastic day out, really enjoyed it, had a really great day out here, right alongside East Midlands Airport with the big 737, 757 or something coming overhead. At the same time, just after a safety car had ended and all the pack had got bunched up again. It was a really good race, full of action throughout the race. Had a good walk round with a fellow sim racer who I attended the day with. Very knowledgeable about cars, loves his cars. I think we get on very well. But yeah, I had the pleasure of visiting one of the Ginetta garages. I think it was Luca and Nicole, the team managers and owners. But the race went right the way down to the wire. I think it was probably about just under 2 seconds between the top two cars. Forget the name of the drivers in the Mercedes AMG that finished winning the race, and then the Lamborghini very close behind him. I have turned a number of laps in the Lamborghini at Donington Park, and it does feel pretty well, but on the day it was fantastic to get up close and personal with all these cars, get right up in with them.
Just a space here, yeah.
Just really interested in looking in the cars and seeing them in Park Ferme afterwards. The whole day was absolutely fantastic. But let's get on to the video and what the difference a setup can make. So we're going to be running here in the Audi, the 2022 version of the car. And as you can see on the left hand side, we've got the base setup that we're going to start this with. Again, using ChatGPT to set up that initial base setup. And then we've got the dialed in setup. Probably a number of hours coming back to the setup. But the whole premise of this video is about using ChatGPT as your alongside race engineer to discuss things with throughout the process of setting up the car. Now, there's a lot of people out there that haven't got a clue what to adjust when it comes to setups and what one piece of setup equipment might change on the car for the good or for bad. And there is a lot of, I wouldn't say craft or witchery or anything like that goes into setting a car up. It's a choice of it's a section of choices really, but understanding what's wrong with the car is probably one of the biggest fundamental uses really of having an engineer. If you can tell him what's wrong with the car, is it understeering, oversteering, is it trying to kill you every time you come out of a bend? Just these subtle words to an engineer and he'll be like, right, I know how to solve that, we'll change this, and then you go back out and it's not trying to kill you anymore. So these are the things that we're going to look at throughout this video and really just understand where ChatGPT can play a huge part in, as well as giving you a setup, it can educate you into what the setup changes make. And just looking at this video, crossing the line here, setting a two-minute lap at Bathurst, and the other car setting a 2-minute 1 lap, that's the massive difference in what a setup can make. You know, over the space of 20 laps, you're going to be 20 seconds ahead. And just to see that progression, especially through Sector 2, for me was the biggest change. I went from like 46s into the 55s and 27s into the 26s in the last section. It really does make such a big difference. But we're going to get into that shortly, and we'll dive into... This is the setup that I used. I will put it towards the end of the video so you can see the lap in its entirety. But this was a setup that I developed with ChatGPT to get this Audi performing. So I'll leave Jay to talk over the rest of the video. Until next time, I'll speak to you again soon. Konnichiwa, mata channelへようこそ。今回もAssetto Corsa Competizioneの動画だよ。今日の動画では、ChatGPT を使ってBathurstで、セットアップを作ります。As you can see, I've been learning a bit of Japanese also whilst using ChatGPT, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the GPT that I've been working on building to help all you guys with the setups. So you're just going to be able to input into ChatGPT, build me a setup at Bathurst, build me a setup at Silverstone, and it's just going to build you one. I've spent hours and hours and hours putting all the details into a spreadsheet. I'll show you the spreadsheet so you can understand just how much work has gone into creating this video, building these setups. So as you can see, these are all the GT3 cars, and these are all the max and minimum values for every setup change that you can make across the board. There's been a lot of time spent opening every single car up, going through every single value and making sure that ChatGPT can read it and understand it. And then it takes that data. Let's see if I can find where the other document is. Let's just open it in Word. Okay. So then it creates this document and it reads all this really quickly so that it can give you the values that are needed to create a setup. It's unbelievable. So let's come into the setup. As you can see up here, you've got Assetto Corsa Competizione, and for anyone that knows how to use ChatGPT, you'll be able to go into Explore GPTs and you'll be able to find this Assetto Corsa Competizione. In fact, I'll leave a link in the video description. So once you've found that, just come into it, say to it, I mean, this is all I did, create me a setup in the most recent Audi R8 at Bathurst, lots of downsource with a good rake angle, blah, 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 blah. And I want it to run at 26 degrees Celsius. It doesn't always get the temperature bits right. Obviously you need to run a few laps, set the tyre pressures correct. But then it gives you perfect, let's build a high downforce, confidence inspiring dry setup for the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 GT3 22 at Bathurst. Brilliant. So it gives you all these values. I've made it so that as you go through all these values, as you input them, you should just move from one screen to the next. Again, all these maximum values, I'd always suggest running his maximum caster, cambers and things like that are all maximum. Options to run traction controls, generally you wouldn't want TC2, but sometimes it does come in useful, like it does with the Audi during this setup. Different brake ducts, but it gives you all these different parameters. You all know what these values and where to put them. Sometimes it won't give you the specific, it'll give you like a figure within, like on the wheel rates, it'll give you a figure within like 120,000 to 195,000, and sometimes like this it picks a figure 125,000. When I looked at installing it, I couldn't go that low. The lowest I could input was 132 at the front. So you just type in, like I've typed in there, because of the segmental options in the wheel rates, the values I'm able to input are 1,320 at the front and 144 at the rear. And it just then suggests a better value. Obviously these values are within the legal range. Front 11 blah 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 using this setup. So setup feels good. I ran the setup, feels good. Tyre pressures I've adjusted, and I tell it what I've adjusted it to. But coming over the skyline, the car doesn't feel planted at all. It bounces all over the place. So then it offers you information about where to go with the setup. It's really detailed. I absolutely love this because it's like working with a technical engineer or a race engineer. It offers you advice. It's sometimes not always the best advice, and it doesn't sometimes always think outside the box on where to go with the setup. But for anyone that doesn't understand what certain aspects of the setup are doing, this is a fantastic tool to learn how to set the car up, because it gives you so much information about what the car is doing and some of the setup changes that you've made and how it affects the car. It's fantastic. Some things you'll just think, oh, I didn't know that did that. And it just gives you a brilliant understanding of where to go. One of the things that I do, as you can see here, I share the setup as I build it. And I have tried using it with my webcam and just like hovering it over my monitor. But it's much easier just to use the app on your phone, take a screenshot, and you can upload about 10 pictures at any one time straight into it. And you'll see as we go further down, I even give it my lap delta to understand where I'm getting slower. If I've had delta, you'll see as we just progress through the setup. And it does take time. Like I mentioned to somebody else recently, setting a car up doesn't happen in seconds. It takes time to go out and understand what the limitations of the car are. Alright, you might need to run 10 laps to think, oh, initially I was setting like a 2-minute 5 lap at Bathurst, and just because of time spent at the circuit and driving the circuit, I've managed to get a 2:04. Not that you've changed anything with the setup, you've just learned how to drive the circuit better. And sometimes I think once I reach the end, or once I reach a setup that feels comfortable to me and I feel like I can push and I feel like I've got confidence in it, the best thing you can do is don't mess with the setup at that point. Just try and get more and more from the setup. Try and get more and more speed out of the setup, because changing something might change it for the worst. It's just, you've got confidence and just go for it. You might find a second in that lap time just through pure confidence alone. But as you progress with setups and you get more and more adept at building up a setup, you'll understand that you want more from the car. You want to carry more speed through certain areas, or you've ran another car at the same circuit and you know full well you can set a much better lap time. And then it's a case of understanding within the setup that you're building, well, where is the time being lost? And it's that as you go, like I say, as you go through the setup, it'll evolve. You can offer advice to ChatGPT. And like you can see, I've shared my lap delta. All right, so looking at the lap delta from the Lexus to the Audi, I'm losing over a second through sector 2 and a few tenths in sector 1 and sector 3. Lack of confidence in the rear of the car is still a big issue coming down the mountain section with this setup. The first section feels okay. I feel like I'm struggling to get the power down. Even when I feel grip and I drop to TC1, it feels like the rear of the car is unstable. Usually this wouldn't be the case. So like I said, I use this technique where, say I'm running TC4, as soon as I feel I've got the car planted at the rear, I'll drop to TC1 on the exit of the corner so that traction isn't being impeded again as we go out of the exit of the corner. Sometimes in the Audi it felt like even once I felt like I got grip, I lose it at the very edge of the corner. It was a really strange feeling. So like I said, the setup progresses, and the more screens I'll share throughout the setup. She might say, I mean, I call her Emma, my ChatGPT, because I hated calling her ChatGPT all the time. So when I'm doing my Japanese lessons and things, I speak to her as Emma Sensei, which is quite funny. Tanoshi desu, but as a setup progresses, like I said, just keep building on it. She reckons I could get a 203 out of that setup, but I wasn't particularly convinced. So still too loose at the rear for me. Really just blatantly obvious statements back to it. Suggestions on where to go with the setup. And we keep going down and down and down. I've probably done quite a few runs at this point. As you can see there, we're just doing lap after lap. Obviously you can see where the setup's progressing. So we've literally started at 201.9, and through these subtle changes we're gradually getting quicker and quicker to a 201.5. So we keep going with the setup, keep going and keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Subtle changes here and there. I'll just go back up to that. Okay, so this is the current setup with a few small tweaks that I've made during the setup. I've tried a few different brake balance changes, which I'll run a lap at 56, and then I'll drop it to 54, run another lap, drop it to 52, and I keep dropping it till I find I'm locking at the rears or the car's rotating too much on corner entry. And coming down into Forest Elbow, ended up locking at 52, so I've moved back to 54. I think the biggest issue now is acceleration up through the mountain. From turn 3 I'm running TC1 on traction control 1 on TC, but still feels slow through the whole mountain section on the way up. I really don't know why it's so slow through sector 2 compared to the Mustang. I think I was losing a full second just through sector 2 alone in this car. So as we adjust traction and we continue building, reducing the differential, changing the bump stops, feeling like I need to make a little tweak to that, we just keep progressing. So I think I added one click on TC2, which has helped deliver power as we go up the hill. So it just helped initially add more control to TC1 really. And look how this is progressing. So we've knocked another half a second off there to the point where we've got to 201, which is fantastic, but it was consistent over 3 laps. You can see this is the time consuming part of building a setup. But again, you could use this for something you bought from Coach Dave if the setup doesn't particularly feel great to you. And just keep progressing through, and eventually we get all the way down to, we've run loads and loads, and look at the time that we started to knock off through this last section, down to reaching a 2 minute 4 lap, or 2 minute 0.4 lap, which is fantastic. I think we've knocked off nearly a second and a half from something, a car that felt unstable. I could just bang in, say, 2 minute 0.7 laps really consistently. I tried it throughout a race. It feels really good, really planted now. And I think I'll share the setup, I think, through the video that we've created now. I'll maybe just put it on screen, but just the process of using ChatGPT to build a setup, I think, for people that don't know where to go with setups and what they're adjusting and what makes a change do one thing and what makes the change do something else, I think this is a fantastic tool for anyone that doesn't understand the concepts of tuning a car. Obviously, you could probably bring this to every other sim racing setup there is out there by just sharing your screen with ChatGPT. I don't even know if it would work using this model that I've set up already within ACC, whether you could use it in Le Mans Ultimate, or iRacing, or Automobilista, any of these things. Just try sharing your setup with ChatGPT, and hopefully within this it can offer advice where to change certain aspects of the setup. It's a fantastic tool, and I really hope you appreciate the time that's gone into creating it. Please do drop a like, drop a comment if you've used it, if it's helped you. Like and share, and as always, until next time, ciao for now, or sayonara, or mata jikai. Ciao for now.